Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Yeah, we ran out of patience. Boil up with the cold hard hatred. I can feel the vibration. Feet in the streets, it's a new sensation. I wanna break faces on the pavement. I wanna make greatness look complacent. Adrenaline awakened, I can taste it. We can make an impact, grab and then take it. Like a disease, bring them to their knees. No pain for their disease. Free just like a wind, spread into the streets. It's time to make them bleed. 'Cause we just want retribution. Let's go light up the darkness. Make true of an empty promise. Rip cards into weak and harmless. Take to the streets and turn them to a mosh pit. 'Cause we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Oh yeah, we want retribution. Tighten up, y'all. Cleats clacking in the tunnel, about to be a fight. Blue crew is running through, dang, our team is tied. T-Rex looking hungry, must be time to eat. Let's kick it off and bring this rowdy crowd to their feet and tighten up, tighten up. Hey Nashville, we're Tennessee, tough, get tough. You can find us everywhere, all across the nation. Rise to the occasion. Tennessee, it's time to tighten up.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to What's Shaking Titans. Just want to take the time to give a huge shout out to everybody who's joining us live right now on What's Shaking Titans, guys. If you're watching us on YouTube, please take this time to hit the subscribe button. If you're not yet already subscribed to our YouTube channel, turn on all notifications to get the latest from What's Shaking Titans, as well as all of our exclusive content exclusively on YouTube. And then, guys, give us a big old like. That'll help us out with the YouTube algorithm. That way more people get to see our video. We'll pop up more often. With that being said, let's go ahead and bring in our co-host, none other than Matthew Massey himself. What's up, Matthew, bro? Let's get this show pumping and rolling. How's your day been, bro?
Yes, sir. Let's get it rolling, man. We had a good little test run. We ready to roll on this.
Yeah, let's talk about it, man. So, guys, before we really go into this episode in full detail, want to give a huge shout out to our newest affiliate sponsor, none other than Temu, guys. It is the holiday season, so whether you're shopping for your spouse or your best friends, your loved ones, kids, whatever it is, go into the description of this video. You'll find a link to get a $100 coupon bundle, as well as you can use code TAN83620 to get 30% off site-wide. That's TAN83620. Guys, you can find both the code and the link to Temu in the description below. It don't matter if you already have a Temu account or if you're brand new to Temu. Definitely use that to go on there, get 30% off site-wide, plus your $100 coupon bundle. Then want to give a huge shout-out to Fanatics, our other affiliate sponsor, guys, who are running a 50% off site-wide discount for the holiday. So definitely jump on over there. Check them out, guys. You can find all your jersey, all your memorabilia, all your all your sports stuff there, guys. So it's definitely worth taking the time to check them out. Then with that being said, we're gonna kind of recap the Titans Jaguars game. So without further ado, let's hop into What's Shaking Titans game recap. All right, guys. So Tennessee Titans fall to the Jacksonville Jaguars in Jackson. They fall 34-14. It was a lackluster day on offense, defense, and special teams. The only 2 touchdowns came off a flea flicker deep to DeAndre Hopkins and Jeffrey Simmons on offense, which was really awesome to see. Want to give a huge shout out to Titans Fox here, who says relive the pain ? Yeah, we really gotta relive the pain, man. We've already talked about it once, now we gotta talk about it again.
This time.
Yeah,
Coming than ever.
right. So guys, I'm gonna let Matthew kind of recap this game and give all his thoughts and opinions on it, and then when I come back in here, guys, we will preview the Tennessee Titans versus the Panthers at Nissan Stadium. But without further ado, Massey, go ahead, give your thoughts on this, Jack.
Yes, sir. All right. So, yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we had a tough run again here against the Jaguars. They beat us 34-14. They threw the ball. They ran pretty well over us as well. They had a total of 389 yards to our 235. Of course, they had 261 through the air. Our run game wasn't going all that well. Let me get to the player stats right quick. Will Levis, he was able to throw for 13 of 17 and had 158 yards for 2 touchdowns. It's a decent game for him, but he wasn't, he didn't hardly have the time to get rid of the ball. He wasn't able to make that many quick decisions as far as the play calling and the offensive line play went as well. So Derrick Henry only getting 10 carries and 38 yards. That didn't help us at all either. We couldn't really move the ball. And as far as the Jaguars go, with Trevor Lawrence, he threw the ball against us 32 times. He got 262 yards and 2 touchdowns as well with 0 turnovers. I was mentioning earlier, we need to find a way to get our secondary to get some turnovers, whether it's on interceptions or forced fumbles, whatever the case may be. They had a decent run game on us. They utilized a few different running backs and gained over 100 yards rushing on us as well. So we got to find a way to get back in there, guys. Their team stats were a lot better than ours pretty much all the way down the books. For us to only convert 2 third downs throughout the whole game, that's not great. So, it's hard to win football games when you're not clicking on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. So, Gary, what did you think about this atrocious Jaguars and Titans game that we had to watch?
Yeah, like I said, it was atrocious, man. I agree with you 100%. We seen a lot of bad football, not so great football. And I mean, there were some spurts of some good things here and there, but not consistent enough to even compete. Moving forward, I think, there's a lot of decision making that is going to have to happen in the higher ups of this organization in regards to, health of certain players. And do you want to risk them being out there versus, risk them being out there versus the risk of them, getting injured and an injury that could, possibly linger for the rest of their career and affect them moving forward. So I think there's a lot that you're going to have to sit down and kind of examine and figure out. Defensively, I think, secondary really had its struggles. It was kind of cool to see Harold Landry and Tierre Tart, show up in the run game, not allowing a lot of big runs on us. for the most part. And, outside of that, I feel like the linebackers and the defensive backs, the defensive front kind of struggled getting pressure on the QB. So there's a lot of stuff to kind of examine here and to kind of break down. But guys, with this being kind of a short episode for us due to it being the holidays and us already kind of having to go back and redo this, first of all, we want to give everybody a huge shout out and say happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is tomorrow. So a huge shout out, and then want to wish everybody, tell everybody be safe on Black Friday for those who are going to go out and do some shopping, guys. Don't forget about our affiliate sponsors. You can find links to those in our description. Temu, there is a link that you can click to get a $100 coupon bundle, which will give you $100 towards different items and different bundles type of ways. So you can definitely check that out. It's well worth it. And then you can use our code TAN83620 to get 30% off site wide. Guys, it was a rough game all around. The O-line is still garbage, and I think this is something we all knew going into this season, is that we had a lot of holes on this O-line, on this team in general. And, there's a lot of things that we're going to have to change in order for us to be competitive. When we had John Robinson in here missing out on, first round draft pick after first round draft pick after first round draft pick after first round draft pick, this is what you're left with, It's not, I don't put it on Mike Vrabel's head like, we see a bunch of fans doing. I don't put it on, Todd Downing's head, or Todd Downing. My God, Tim Kelly's head either. Yeah, there could be some better play calls, here and there, but for the most part, I think what we're seeing from them is because they're handcuffed, with this roster. I mean, what do you really expect them to go out there and take shots down the field the entire game? Why? So Will Levis can get hurt and be out for the rest of the season? And possibly next year too? Do you really expect them to run pass all game when Derrick Henry can't even get the ball in his arms without getting hit in the backfield? Or even Tajay Spears? Your play action pass barely works. Your screen plays half the time are barely working. And it all starts and finishes with the O-line, There's not much anybody would be able to do. I don't care if you had Tom Brady on this offense right now. It's still going to look the same. I don't care if you had the head coach from, Kansas City right now. It's still going to be the same. When you have this type of personnel and these type of problems, guys, it takes time to fix, So let's calm down. Let's stop calling for Vrabel's head. Let's realize that, if this organization was out on Mike Vrabel, they would not have given him more power after a 7-game losing streak last year. And then, it's also been reported through 104.5 The Zone, guys, that, Amy Adams still finds that Vrabel is a very important piece and part to this team moving forward. So, if she was going to possibly fire her, we wouldn't be getting those reports, guys. But that's not the feel that is inside the Titans organization right now. So, it is kind of frustrating that, just because, Vrabel's having to deal with the backlash of John Robinson still this year, that everybody is wanting to put the blame on Mike Vrabel. I think Mike Vrabel is trying to make, fried chicken with duck, and you just can't make fried chicken out of duck. It just don't work that way. We ain't got no chickens on this team, guys. Gobble gobble.
Gobble gobble. It's turkey day, not chicken day.
Yeah. All right, fried turkey. There we go. He's trying to go out there and fry that turkey for the family for Thanksgiving, and he can't fry the turkey because all he has is a freaking duck. Quack quack.
No win there.
So, yeah, I mean, it was atrocious, bro, all around. Like Vrabel said, you got to play better, got to coach better. It starts with them, from the ground up. Of course, he's going to put the blame on himself and, before he would the players. That's just who Vrabel is. But
Yeah.
guys, let's be honest. Behind this personnel that we got on the roster, there's not much hope. So you got to start asking yourself, when is it time to stop, focusing on this year and start planning for next year? You know, do we make moves at the quarterback position to protect Will Levis for the future? Do we make moves at the running back position to possibly protect Derrick Henry so that way they both have a better chance next year? Or do we decide to roll the dice and gamble it out? You know,
Yeah. I got a good take on that, if you don't mind.
fire, bro.
Okay, so as a head coach, and I'm gonna, my words, what I'm about to say, and this is probably a reason why I'm not a head coach in the NFL, just to start off. But so if I'm thinking from the head coach's perspective, and in my honest opinion, I'm playing Will Levis. This is the NFL. This is football. This is what you signed up for. Yeah, I know we ain't got the greatest offensive line. Look at the Panthers over there with Young and them, and they're not winning games either. So I don't know if it's their offensive line or what it is over there, but there's a lot of hard football going on for the bad teams in the NFL, and that's just kind of how it goes. And unfortunately, we fall into that category. But going back to like what we've been saying, as far as that, you're kind of danged if you do and danged if you don't. As a head coach, that's a really tough decision to have to think about. Like you were saying, as far as are we thinking about moving forward and thinking about next season? I'm thinking as a head coach, you still got to keep that. Well, we got to focus on the next game, because if you get too far ahead of yourself, then that's what the season's going to end up looking like. Or there's going to be too many like roadblocks or things that end up in the way.
Talk about it.
Footies. But and also like with the what if scenarios too, like it is football. I get it. I 100% understand that as well. But in my opinion, this is the NFL. This is what they signed up for. You gotta play with what you have, coach with what you have, put them out there, let them go for it, and see what you got. If these what if scenarios happen down the road, as far as injuries or better players stepping up and moving positions and things like that, then you take it from there. But if I'm thinking from a head coach, I'm going all out in the season that I got with the players I got, and every opportunity I can take, I'm going to take it and try and coach the best I can.
Yeah, I understand that, and I definitely agree that, the best experience is, being out there on the field and, taking live reps. But, the fact of the matter is Will Levis is injured. He's already hurt. He was on the injury report before the Buccaneers game ever started. That happened in practice. This O-line can't even keep him up and protected during practice.
Right.
I mean, you can't just do non-contact practice, because then when you get out there, during the game, it's gonna look even worse than what it looks now.
Ow.
So you can't really protect them, in practice. You can't protect them in a live game. It's only a matter of time before we see Will Levis go down. And, to everybody, myself included, who thought we might have seen Tannehill's last game in a Titans uniform in London, we might have to eat a piece of humble pie here in a little bit, because at this rate, it's only going to be a matter of time before Will Levis is taken out with an injury, because guys, he is getting creamed back there. I mean, he's getting hit 14 plus times a game, sacked 4 or 5 times in each game. That type of pressure, we see what it does. I mean, we see what it done to Tannehill, and it's only a matter of time before the same thing happens to Will Levis. What if we keep Will Levis in? What would I like to see moving forward from Will Levis is him utilizing his legs, to kind of keep him moving more, to give him a little more time, to go through his reads and make plays downfield, but also, to open that door for runs down the field. We've seen it a lot from him in college. So let's see if he's able to kind of utilize that, in any sort of manner moving forward. One other thing I would like to mention before we jump into the comments here is, guys, Will Levis, when we're really examining his gameplay, And I don't know why this is, but every time he's had a clean pocket, he has been making bad decisions, poor throws and bad decisions. You
I
know,
haven't. I mean, I've seen it a couple times, but he's a rookie. I haven't seen it every time.
yeah, a lot of that has to do with the fact that you're right. He is a rookie. There's still a lot to learn. I think a lot of it has to do with the simple fact that he's just not expecting a clean pocket. You know,
Right.
of course, these are things that can be worked out and worked on. But you definitely have to weigh your options. I'm not saying that Will Levis is a bad quarterback, because he is the best option we have at quarterback right now. What I'm saying is that, moving forward, do we want to risk him severely going down? And me personally, I've seen this scenario play out too many times. I've seen it with Marcus Mariota. I've seen it with Jake Locker. I mean, how many times do we have to sit here and watch our future franchise quarterback get hurt to the point where he's not able to go out and compete like he had the potential to compete? Know,
that's what I'm getting at. It's the NFL, so you gotta let the guys you have play.
But at the same time, though, we have Ryan Tannehill sitting right behind him, who might not give you as good of a chance, but he still gives you a pretty darn good chance.
He got, this is the second or third season in a row where he had a left or a right ankle injury. You know what I mean? So he's coming off of an injury too. I think the only one of our three quarterbacks that hasn't been on the injured list is Malik Willis.
That's crazy. But yeah,
right?
That's crazy, man. You're right. It's Malik Willis has been the the one guy who can take the licks and keep on going. But like I'm saying, guys, it's not, when I say pull Levis, it's not because I'm saying Levis is a bad quarterback. He is still the guy moving forward. I'm saying that because this is the worst offensive line in the NFL right now. The Panthers have a better O-line than the Tennessee Titans. Okay, that's facts, and that's crazy.
That's so sad.
It is, and they're what are they, 1-8 or 1-9, something like that, And they have a better O-line than your Tennessee Titans. All right, and we're talking about humble pie. That's a piece of humble pie right there, guys. And the only reason why I'm saying this, and like I said, I agree, and I get your take on it, and everybody else's take who wants to sit there and say keep Levis in, let him get this experience, But at the same time, what is the definition of insanity? It's doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result each time. Okay?
Yeah.
And if we keep forcing, our future of our franchise to play behind all line that we all know can't open running lanes, can't protect in the passing game, can't even protect during a play action pass, you at most get 3 or 4 plays a game where there is a clean pocket. At most, and that's sad. I mean, if y'all want to risk it, go ahead. Go ahead. By all means, go ahead and risk it. But if you're asking me personally, no, I'm going to protect Will Levis from himself and from this O-line. And I'm going to pull him and say, hey, we got you game experience. You're our guy moving forward. But we want to protect you, and we want to show you how much you mean to us by sitting here and pulling you and saying, hey, we're going to go out and we're going to get you help, and we're going to put a better O-line in front of you. That way you're not out here getting destroyed and murdered to the point where you have no future. I mean, look at Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck quit on his team, quit the NFL because they refused to address the O-line. You look at Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz was one of the brightest quarterbacks coming out of college. And what happened? He kept getting injured because of the O-line, and they refused to fix it. And guess what? Now he is a shell of himself. You look at Marcus Mariota. Same thing happened with Marcus, And Marcus is a shell of himself. And, you know, Andrew Luck, when he came in here, guess what, guys? Andrew Luck, Lord, Jake Locker, I'm sorry. Jake Locker, when Jake Locker came into the NFL, Jake Locker was said to be one of the best quarterbacks in his draft. And what happened? He kept getting injured and injured and injured. And then eventually, guys, it affected how much he could play. And that's what I'm trying to say we need to prevent. Okay, yes, it's good for him to get these live reps and this valuable experience, you know. So that's what I'm saying. Like, he's gotten some experience. We've seen what he can do. The Titans coaching staff knows what he can do. Will Levis himself knows what he can do. But at this point, this O-line, they're not doing anything to help him. We don't have that dog mentality on O-line anymore. When somebody's getting an illegal hit on the quarterback from the opposing defense, do you see our O-line going and getting there in the faces like Taylor Lewan would? No, they're like, oh, okay, whatever. Next play. Yeah, next play.
Do you think that's what Vrabel, maybe Rand or whoever makes those decisions, do you think that's what they're going to go with?
What do you mean? Like,
as far as like sitting Derrick Henry, letting Tajay get more carries, maybe taking Will Levis out and letting Tannehill run it for the last few or however many games of the season, or maybe just the last few.
I think that what's going to happen is we're going to have a couple more games with Will Levis. And barring him not getting hurt again, because if he gets hurt again and he actually gets injured, they're going to pull him. They're going to have to, because I mean, the man's already playing with a wrapped foot, you know. But I think that your goal is to try and get 1-2 more games in, see if you're able to pull off some wins. Of course, right now your Tennessee Titans are undefeated at home, sitting at 3-0. This game coming up is a home game, so, you know, big expectations there for your Tennessee Titans. But I think that, you know, you really have to sit there and you have to evaluate, you know, what's the best options for us moving forward. Right now, Derrick Henry can't do nothing behind this O-line because this O-line isn't doing nothing to help Henry, you know. And then Spears has been the only one who's been able to be semi-productive. So I think that, you know, we do start seeing that shift carry. I think Derrick Henry is still our RB1. Even going in next year, I think we find a way to keep Henry on this team because, you know, like I said, we'll have a revamped O-line. You know, it's going to look different. It's going to feel different next year. So I think that, you know, we see this, what we've seen the past few weeks, maybe play out 1 or 2 more games. And then, yeah, I think they seriously will do that because, like I said, I mean, how many times has it bit this organization in the butt when they haven't made the change when they should have made the change? Right. You know?
I think they're tried it out. I mean, to answer my own question, and I agree with you, make some good points. But going back to like if you were if I was the head coach type scenario or thought process, I think, you know, Vrabel and the organization, they're going to take it like game by game. You know what I mean? Like week by week. If if he goes out there and he has a great performance against the Panthers, yeah, everybody pretty much expects that or would love to see it. But you say he goes out there and balls out, and then the next 2 or 3 games goes out there and balls out. You know, I feel like they're going to take it game by game and week by week, and then decide off of that. You know, but I could see, you know, like you said, if you go out there, you have a couple of good games. All right, you know, the season's going downhill still. All right, Tannehill, get in there, see what you can finish out. You know, whatever the case may be. So either way, you know, good luck to the Titans, you know, as far as that goes. And that is a hard decision to make. That's why they get paid.
Well, I mean, we've seen other organizations do that in the past. You know, they will protect their ones, especially if their season's going downhill and they realize, hey, there's nothing we're going to be able to do to you know, pull this out and get into the playoffs. We've seen organizations say, okay, we're gonna pull our ones and we're gonna let our 2s go or our 3s go. So, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if we do see that. If anything, that tells me what the Titans organization believes about Will Levis, you know,
right,
and Derrick Henry. You know, the decision making will tell you what they think of who they have. You know, Because, like I said, behind this O-line and sitting at 3-7, we are not going to the playoffs. That's plain and obvious. There's no way we're making that playoffs, barring some unforeseen miracle turnaround season that I just don't think is going to happen, guys.
I wouldn't see the second and third string O linemen come in and see what they.
Yeah, and as we're about to get into our preview for the Panthers versus Titans at Nissan Stadium, one of the things I will say is I don't think this is going to be a runaway game by the Titans. I don't think it's going to be a dominant game by the Tennessee Titans. I think that we're looking at a possible first loss at Nissan Stadium. And I'll say that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because those first 3 wins that we had at home, we had a completely different O-line. Now we got a bunch of guys out on, injured reserve, bunch of guys out with concussions and torn biceps. And, we just have no way of solidifying the O-line in front of them. And, guys, you have to have an O-line in order to go out here and compete. And we don't have that. You can't run the ball. You can't pass the ball. I mean, what do you expect your Titans to do? Crap the ball in the end zone? Because it's just not going to happen, I mean, and the defense, I mean, the defense ain't scoring points out there for you. It's rare that we get a turnover. 3 INTs of the season. Through 10 games, we've only had 3 turnovers.
Yeah.
No forced fumbles, nothing like that. 3 turnovers. That's it, guys. So it's a lackluster year all around, But I think when it comes to the quarterback play, they're going to have to sit down and they're going to have to weigh their options, And the fact of the matter is that you still have Tannehill under contract this year. Tannehill will still give you a good chance to go in and win these games. That doesn't mean Tannehill's the guy moving forward, but what that means is that, hey, they want to protect a valuable piece moving forward. So it will be interesting to see. Like I said, I can see it your way. I can see it the way I'm talking about. It could happen either way, But I really think at this point, with Levis already being injured, his foot being wrapped, and then missing practice, it's only a matter of time before he either permanently goes down and hits IR or, the Titans say, okay, enough's enough. We're tired of seeing our future quarterback getting destroyed out there. I mean, because it doesn't matter if you have Tom Brady out there. You're not making plays, guys.
I'll put it this way. With all due respect, I truly, truly, truly hope you are way wrong on that. I understand the logic, but I'm going to say I truly hope you're wrong on that.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's a scenario that we've seen played out before. You're in a losing season. There's nothing worth playing for right now. What are you playing for to get lower in the draft?
Look, Will Levis is built different, man. There's a reason he puts mayonnaise in his coffee. Maybe it's like drinking. That's
what everybody says. But yeah, he's missed a bunch of game time in college from injuries, and then you look, he went down after the first preseason game during practice, and that's the whole reason he was QB3 for all that time and not QB2. So we think that Will Levis is built different, but here we are. But this was his 4th game since taking over, and he was hurt before the 3rd game ever started.
You remember which play that he got up limping from? I believe it was only his 2nd or 3rd rush since he started at quarterback, but it was the very first rush that he ran in the game for a first down.
And which one? Which game?
The one this last game against the Jags.
But he was hurt before the Tampa Bay game. And if y'all would remember, because I sent you and Maddox a PM saying, hey, this is going to be something that we have to keep our eye on moving forward, because Will Levis was on the injury report with a foot injury. So this is going to be something that we're going to have to keep our eye on moving forward. And I remember Maddox said in our group chats, he was saying, oh, he's not worried about that. Levis is, built different. Same thing you just said. Built different, that Mayo, all that good stuff. But yeah, you look at what happened during that Jaguars game. He's getting his foot wrapped up, then he's already missed practice. Yeah, I get wanting to be the fan side of me sits there and says, yeah, he's built different. He can handle this. Yeah. But the realistic side of me, who does the podcasting and just tells you how I see it, sits there and will say, hey, this guy's not going to last much longer. All it's going to take is somebody tackling him and rolling up on that foot the wrong way. And either that foot's broken or you got a ankle sprain, just like Tannehill. And then guess what? You're back to Tannehill. All it takes is one wrong move at this point,
Yeah, and that's why I keep saying it's football, man. All it takes is one roll-up, but that's every single play. That's every single player on the field. I get he's the quarterback, and I agree. That's all it does take is one split second, one kind of bad turn, one kind of bad roll-up. But that's literally every single play of football that you're on the field.
Yeah, like I said, I get where you're coming from. But at the same time, you really have to sit here because, like I said, do you think a quarterback who requires his legs can come back and be the same quarterback off of an ACL tear? If so, I refer you to Carson Wentz. When Aaron Rodgers comes back off of this Achilles tear, I will refer you to Aaron Rodgers. Because, guys, I will be the first one to say we won't see the Aaron Rodgers of old anymore. He's going to be a lot more of a pocket passer than he is going to be the mobile quarterback using his legs type. We'll still see it from time to time, but not as much. Why? Because each injury you receive throughout your entire lifetime, it takes a piece away from you, And we've seen it. You look at Marcus Mariota. We've seen him slowly decline after injury after injury after injury. I'm not saying that, boom, he's going to get injured once and then, boom, he's straight drop off. But these injuries will continue to pile up. And the more that you keep them out there, the worse these injuries get, So what I'm saying is we've seen it done before. You look at the Denver Broncos when they won their Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. What did they do that year?
What did they do?
They benched who? Peyton Manning, because the O-line could not protect. But they were in a good enough position to where they were still able to make it to the playoffs. And then they brought Manning back, and Manning won the Super Bowl.
That's the opposite of a losing season, though.
Yeah, but in a losing season, in the same way, though, you have to look at it in the same manner, because if you keep Peyton Manning out there through the rest of that season, then he's not going to be there to take you to that Super Bowl. He wouldn't have been. He would have been hurt. Okay, so if you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, Will Levis is the guy of the future, do you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with that. Will Levis is the guy of the future. Okay. So if this is our franchise quarterback and we have no chance of making it to the playoffs, even with him in our field right now, because of all the gaping holes everywhere else on this roster, okay, then we know that we might have a chance next year once we fix and replace this O-line and secondary and all the other holes, because we have the biggest cap space in the National Football League going into next year as of right now. And, we can address all these things through free agencies, draft, trades, however you want to do it. You have the room to do that now. But if we keep Will Levis in, then, he gets hurt. Let's say we get to week 16, week 17, and like I said, he gets out here and has a season-ending injury that will last, a year, maybe a year and a half. Well, then guess what, guys? You're left with Malik Willis for half of next year, possibly longer, because you don't know the time of recovery from that.
I just don't think the
I mean, if you were playing to get to the playoffs, then yes, you keep Will Levis in. But right now, no, you protect Will Levis. I mean, you
got experience for next season
he's gotten that experience, man. He's gotten that experience. I mean, he's played some of the better defenses that we are going to face this year, outside of Miami. You know, Miami's about the last defense that I'm really just concerned with. You know, he's done played and gotten experience against all the top end defenses. He beat Atlanta Falcons, who, you know, apparently had a top 3 defense. You know, but after that Titans game, just fell off the face of the earth. So, you know, and then you look at, you know, the Jaguars, who have a decent defense. Then you look at Tampa Bay's, who defense is pretty decent. You know, you look at all these games, he's gotten these valuable reps. And then, of course, you got the Panthers coming in, who don't have a defense or an offense, you know. And, yeah, you know.
Beating us Sunday.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Did you see those comments we get over there on YouTube?
Yeah, I'm about to read them out. Okay. So Fox says, eating humble pie, this is the Titans way. He said, based on what Levis is showing thus far, he's going to be incredible behind a good O-line. I agree. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then he said, if Vrabel starts Dilliard, we're giving up and it's tank time. Yeah. And that's the point here, guys, is, you know, if we're going to say we need a tank so we can have that top 3 or 4 draft pick, then it's safer to go ahead and pull Will Levis and say, all right, Tannehill or Malik, here you go. Get us the rest of this season somehow, some way. You know, do your best, but don't do great. You know? And then that's going to set you up to be able to go out there and get, you know, whether it's a top O lineman, which I don't suggest you do. But, you know, you got Kool-Aid from Bama, who is a really good safety. You know, you got a lot of options out there to address all these holes. You know, you got free agency coming up, you know. But we have to protect some of our key players. But, guys, anyway, I got babies crying in the background, so we're going to push this on real quick. And I know, Massey, you have to leave here in about 20 minutes. So let's go ahead and jump into previewing the Panthers versus Titans game at Nissan Stadium. But before we do, guys, want to give a quick reminder to everybody to go check out our affiliate sponsors, Fanatics, as well as Temu. You can find a link to Temu to get in our description below. You click that link and you'll get $100 coupon bundle that will go on different items and stuff like that. It's a really cool bundle that Temu has put together. And then you can use our code TAN 83620. That's TAN 83620. You can find that in the link in the description below as well, right below the link. And you can get 30% off site wide, guys. So definitely go over there, check that out. With the holiday season fastly approaching, what better time than now to go check out Temu and Fanatics. So with that being said, Massey, man, Titans are facing one of the worst teams in the National Football League at home, and yet you feel like this could be a game where the Titans drop their first loss at home. You know, what do you think the Titans need to do to correct, you know, what we're seeing and what's going on?
Yeah, I think you know, a 1-9 team. We only got 3, so that's not looking too great for us. We do have, like you mentioned, a 3-0 record at home. That's okay. But Will Levis is going to have a good game somehow. The offensive line, like I was saying, I feel like the last few weeks, probably all season, they need to figure the coaching staff during the week for practices. Things need to be making that team practice a lot harder. The offensive line needs to be practicing play harder, more drills, something like that's just going to make them block better in the game in clutch situations. First half of the game to the end of the game, they got to figure out how to play harder and do their job and do their assignments as offensive. So that's definitely going to be a big key to be able to win the game. I mentioned it earlier. Our secondary step up. They got so far off on those critical like third downs, or even got to quit playing so far off. Yeah, go ahead.
So I was just gonna let you know you're kind of breaking in and out there, pretty bad. So,
Okay.
I don't know if you can adjust your phone and maybe correct that, but while he's doing that, guys, yeah, I agree. The O-line's going to have to correct some of their woes here. I don't think that's going to be possible. I mentioned it earlier. I think this is going to be a very close game, and I think there's a huge chance that the Titans drop their first loss at Nissan Stadium against the Panthers, and Lord forbid that happens, because then everybody's going to be really hating on the coaching staff. But we have to realize that it's not a coaching problem. It's a personnel problem. That's what it is at the end of the day. Like Fox was saying, if Vrabel starts Dilliard, then we all know that it's a tank. There's not much options that Vrabel has on the O-line. There's not much options for Tim Kelly to call certain plays because the O-line can't open running lanes. It can't protect Will Levis, can't give him time to go through certain reads, or let the play develop downfield. It's go ahead.
Got to kind of keep it real too. That Vrabel, we do see coaches and offensive coordinators get let go because of these. You know what I mean? Like mid-season or closer to the end of the season, we see coaches being fired, left and right, and being moved and things like that. So it's very possible that these kind of things happen. It is the NFL, but at the same time, I agree. I definitely think Vrabel and Rand and all them are going to try and gel and be on the same page for long term instead of just just getting rid of the coach. We don't really see Amy being that.
Well, and I'll say this real fast is, once again, if Vrabel was going to get, if Vrabel was on even close to remotely being on the chopping block, then last year, when we went on a 7-game losing streak, Amy would not have given him more authority over this team. Authority that should be Rand Carthon's this year, but isn't. It's still Mike Vrabel's, So, once again, I want to kind of make this clear to everybody watching that, it's not up to Rand if Mike Vrabel gets fired. It's up to Amy. And Miss Amy has clearly stated and shown that she believes that Mike Vrabel is a huge asset to this team moving forward. Even though we're seeing what we're seeing right now. This is something that they kind of knew on the inside was going to happen. This is something as fans that we should have realized that, hey, these players that they brought in, they were supposed to be patchwork. And when they started getting injured and stuff didn't pan out, we should have known, okay, right then and there, hey, this isn't a coaching thing. This is a personnel thing. This is because the general manager, who had all the control that Vrabel had beforehand, when it comes to draft picks and letting go of players and signing players, all of that, this is something that was on him. When you have 3 or 4 multiple first-round picks that don't pan out because of injury or because they're just absolute garbage, this is what happens. This is what it looks like, So I say, me personally, you got to give Mike Vrabel and Rand Carthon time to correct what John Robinson has done wrong. You're not going to do it through one off season, especially when that off season that Rand Carthon came in here and started working with Vrabel. You literally had no cap space. You hardly had any draft picks. You weren't going to fix much of anything. Now we have a huge cap space. We have the biggest cap space in the National Football League. We know the type of coach Mike Vrabel is. You know, we know that Rand Carthon, I think if we see any type of move, it's going to be Rand Carthon will get more of the GM role moving forward. Because right now, only thing that Rand Carthon is doing is evaluating your future draft picks. So he's in charge of the scouting team and he's in charge of finances. That's it. Not personnel decisions, not none of that. The decision to trade KB had nothing to do with Rand Carthon. Let's get that clear. It was Mike Vrabel because that's who has the power over that right now. So I think that we shift some of that back over to Rand and allow Vrabel to go back to focusing on coaching, you know. But with that being said, is we also have, for the first time under Rand and Vrabel, time to actually address and room to address with the cap room and the draft capital that we have. We can actually address and fix some of these gaping holes. So I think we see that. But yeah, you know, let's go ahead and push on through real quick, guys. We're going to go into my 3 keys for victory here. So without further ado, let's hit.
Mega win.
Alright guys, so welcome into Gary's 3 keys to victory here, guys. So this is going to be kind of similar to last week here. Guys, I'm going to start out with consistency. We need to have consistent gameplay on offense, defense, and special teams. We need to get pressure on the quarterback, on Bryce Young. We need to force him to beat us with his arm, which, you know, he is capable of doing. But, you know, we need to play consistent in the secondary and in our front on defense. And on offense, you know, we got to play consistent on offensive line. Let's continue to give Will Levis some clean pockets instead of having 1 or 2 plays a game. Let's try and give him, you know, 10 or 15 plays a game, you know, and let's build that consistency up here. My second key to victory here, guys, is going to be O-line strictly, guys. We have to have a better day from this offensive line. If not, Will Levis is going to get eaten up by one of the worst teams in the National Football League. And my third key, which is going to be the final key, guys, I'm going to say utilize Tajay Spears. Wait a second, that's different. Yes, utilize Tajay Spears because behind this O-line, Derrick Henry is unable to get going. So we got to utilize Tajay Spears and then bring Henry in to complement off of that. You know, so those are my 3 keys to victory. Let's bring Massey back in here real quick. What's your thoughts on those 3 keys, brother?
Hey, you make some really good. Those are really good 3 keys, and that was a different third 3 keys. So
yeah,
I like how you're switching it up a little bit. You know, definitely agree with the consistency. We gotta figure out a way to make that happen, and consistency with good stuff instead of bad consistent offensive line, in my opinion. But so yeah, I mean, I definitely like your 3 keys, man. 100%.
I appreciate it there, brother. So with that being said, guys, let's go on and let's push through. Let's get to Massey's Sky High. Scott. Oh my gosh, I done botched that, bro.
Yeah, read it.
We're getting into Massey's bold prediction of the week. Here we go.
All right, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you shooting that over to me. So last week I went with the defense. I believe I said 4+ sacks and 2+ turnovers. We didn't get either one of those. I don't think we may have got the sacks, but either way, I went defense last week. Wasn't right, and I'll tell you the way this team is playing, these are getting harder and harder each week. So let's hope maybe I can get one, right eventually before the season ends. And if not, we still got plenty of time, guys, because we ain't going nowhere. So let's see. I'm gonna go Will Levis with 3+ passing or 3+ touchdowns, maybe 2 passing and 1 rushing, something like that.
Yeah, I like that. Three touchdowns. I like where you went with that. I think that's a really good prediction. So Yeah, man, that's a good one. That's a good
Kind
one.
of switch it up a little bit.
Yeah.
I like interesting.
Yeah, that's why I kind of switched up my keys. You know, I was like, man,
Yeah.
gotta change. What do we say? The definition of insanity is what? Doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result each time. You're not getting that from me, not today.
Yep. Gotta switch it.
Gotta switch it up. Yep.
Just make it at this point of the season.
Yeah. Well, guys, with that being said, this is the end of the show here at What's Shaking Titans. Massey, want to thank you for joining again and, just being an awesome co-host, man. It's awesome having you a part of the show. Guys, real quick, want to give a huge shout out to both of our affiliate sponsors, Fanatics, as well as Temu. Temu is a new affiliate sponsor that we have. You can find the links to that in the description below. Use the link to get a $100 coupon bundle on Temu, as well as use code TAN83620 to get 30% off site-wide. And then hop on over to Fanatics, guys. Fanatics is offering 50% off site-wide. With that being said, guys, we always say one thing right before we get out of here. That's peace and tighten up.
Let's go.
Let's go. This episode of What's Shaking Titans is powered by Bailey's Barbecue. Bailey's Barbecue, smoking good barbecue. Once again, everybody, this episode of What's Shaking Titans is powered by Bailey's Barbecue. Bailey's Barbecue, smoking good barbecue. Huge shout out to our affiliate sponsors, Temu and Fanatics. You can find a link to Temu in the description below. Use the link to get a $100 coupon bundle and use code TAN83620 to get 30% off site-wide. You can find that also in the description below. Want to once again thank everybody for taking the time to tune in to What's Shaking Titans. Happy Turkey Day, guys. Hope everybody has a blessed and wonderful Thanksgiving. We'll catch y'all live next week here on YouTube.